Okay. Back in 2018, my best friend came up to me in January, and in January, everyone makes their New Year's what? Resolutions. He goes, Andrew, this is going to be my year. He said, I'm going to make a ton of money and I'm going to lose a ton of weight. And I said, all right, go for it, man. I'll support you any way I can. 2018 goes by, 2019 comes. He goes, Andrew, last year was not my year, but I'm telling you, this is going to be my year. I'm going to make a ton of money and I'm going to lose a ton of weight. And I said, all right, let me know how it goes. Like, keep a list, set some goals, and let's do this together. Never got me involved, he didn't do anything, right? 2019 goes by, 20 comes, same thing happens. Last year's not my year, but I'm telling you, this is going to be it. I'm going to make a ton of money and I'm going to lose a ton of weight. And I said, Anthony, you don't get what you want, you get what you commit yourself to, right? He wanted to make a ton of money, wanted to lose a ton of weight, but he never got there because he didn't do the things that were necessary to achieve those goals. And the reason I share the stories before I do any health talk or event is because we all want to live a life full of energy, vitality, and live a healthy lifestyle. But if we do not do the things necessary to achieve those goals, we ourselves will never get there either, right? When people think about health and wellness, think about two major things. They think about eating right and what else? Exercise, right? If I eat right and exercise, then I'm going to be healthy. But there are other pieces to the puzzle. And when you neglect the other pieces of the puzzle, you're not going to reach the level of health and wellness that you want. And that's what we're going to talk about today because nobody else is talking about it. No doctors, pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, nobody, right? So today we're going to go on a journey. And on this journey, we're going to answer 4 major questions. How many questions?
4.
Okay, good job. 4 questions. And by answering those 4 questions, we're going to start to shift ourselves away from sickness and disease and start to move ourselves towards optimal health and wellness, okay? But if we just sit here and wait for this half an hour to be over, you're here because I told you to be here, you're not really engaged in learning any information. Research shows you're going to retain some information, but only 10%. But if we participate and we raise our hands and we shout out answers with energy, everyone say energy. Come on, that's right, energy, right? So you're going to retain 90% of the information, right? Not 10, but 90%. If you look at it a different way, and there's 2 people that go to the gym, one person's a social butterfly, walks around, talks to everybody, barely works out, but the second person lifts weights, runs on the treadmill, sweats. Who's getting better results? Person number 1 or 2? 2, every time, right? Every time. Same thing for today. All right. And I'm not here just to give you some information, right? Information does nothing for you unless you put action behind it, right? So I'm not here to inform you. I'm here to transform you. Participation equals transformation. And when you take this information and you put action behind it, it's not only going to change your life, but it can also have the opportunity to change the lives of people around you, right? Action changes things. And you're all action takers because if you weren't action takers, you wouldn't be here right now. All right. And the reason why we need to take action on our health, right? And I'm going to give you an opportunity to take action on this information, not just for you, but for your people around you at the end of this talk. The reason why we need to take action on this information is because if you look at the health of our country, is it getting better or worse? Worse, right? Chronic diseases are going up. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, the trillions of dollars that we spend every year on our health in our healthcare system. The leading cause of money that's getting spent is on chronic diseases that can be treated and cured if we just make the proper lifestyle choices. In 1998, our country was 34% obese, and in 2018, it was 41%. And when you look at the numbers now, when they consider people just overweight, they say 70% of our country is considered overweight. 70, that's being on the low end, right? 70%. Right? A lot of these chronic diseases can come from overweight and making improper lifestyle choices. In 2009, a study came out saying children born after the year 2000 have a lower life expectancy than the parents for the first time ever because of the trends our healthcare system is going and the lifestyle choices that we are making on a regular basis. Right? So is our healthcare system working? Yes or no? No. Right? No. So we need to make a change. What country spends the most money on the healthcare system?
China.
United States, right? What country spends the most money, has the largest pharmaceutical market in the world? United States. But yet, where do you think we rank in the world when it comes to health and wellness? Close, 37, right? 37. I just put a study up on our Instagram. They said our life expectancy is like 77 years, 78 years. That's like 40th in the world. 40th. Right, 40th, and we have the most money. We spend the most money. We have the largest pharmaceutical market. If that was the things that was based around our health, then we should be ranked number 1. If you get the 11 wealthiest nations together, we rank last when it comes to healthcare system. Right. So I'm going to ask you again: is our healthcare system working? Yes or no? No. Right. 3 reasons why we fail in the society. for our healthcare system. One is we don't use the right roadmap. If we want to get around New Jersey, we can't look at a map of Texas. If you want to reach a level of health and wellness above where you are, you got to understand what health and what is health and where it comes from. The second reason, I'll tell you at the end of the talk, so don't let me forget. The third reason is because we don't take responsibility. Who's responsible for your health? Yourself, right? You are. Not me, not some other doctor, nobody else. You're responsible. And a lot of times people put that responsibility onto somebody else or make excuses as to why they are where they are in their current health situation because of the decisions they made or did not make in the past, right? And the statement goes, you are where you are in your current health situation because of the decisions you either made or did not make in the past, right? So the first question that we're going to go over is, what's your greatest asset in life? It's your what? Health, right? If you don't have your health, what do we have? We have nothing, right? When people are sick and suffering in the hospital, all they want to do is get out of the hospital. All they want to do is get their health back. They're not worried about vacations. They're not worried about their house. They're not worried about money, taxes, or whatever. They just want to get out of the hospital. When my wife was pregnant with our son, people asked me, is it a boy or girl? I said, I don't care. I just want the baby to be what? No. Healthy. Because if the baby's healthy and it has this opportunity to live the life it's desired to live, right? So health is our greatest asset. Is that something you want to be proactive with or reactive with? Proactive, always. But the problem is that we're very reactive. We don't do anything about it until it becomes a problem. And it's affecting our life and we can't do the things that we normally would be doing, right? Like people will suffer and deal with a problem until they can't deal with it anymore, right? And by the time they're done and they can't deal with it anymore, it's affecting their life in a negative way, then they come and try and get things fixed. But sometimes for people, it's too late, right? We're proactive with our car. We change the tires, rotate the tires, we change the oil 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Because we know that if we don't, it's going to damage our car. And if our car gets damaged, then we can't get from point A to point B, and then it's really going to affect us. But we value and put our car ahead of our own self, and that's where the problem is, right? We have to start being more proactive with ourselves instead of reactive. So health is our greatest asset. What is the definition of health? This is where everyone gets silent. What do you think? Take a guess.
Lifestyle. Food we eat,
yeah,
water we drink,
yeah, lifestyle choices, yeah, healthy lifestyle, yeah, good. Anybody else? There's always an answer that somebody gives at every talk. I'm waiting to see if someone gives it to me today. Anybody else have a guess? Yeah, that's great too. That is part of the definition of health. Like we can go home now. No, I'm just kidding. That is part of it. But a lot of times when I ask, they say, if I look good or I feel good, I'm healthy, right? A lot of people base their health on how they look and how they feel. That goes back to being proactive and reactive, right? If I feel good, then I'm healthy. But that is not true. What are the top 2 disease killers in our country? Heart disease and what? What'd you say? Cancer, yeah. Heart disease number 1, cancer is number 2. How do you know when you have heart disease? Is when you have what? A heart attack, and that's too late, right? It's too late, right? No one knows what it feels like to build high blood pressure. No one knows what it feels to build clogging of the arteries. No one knows what it feels like to build heart disease until the day you get a heart attack, right? But when you base your health on how you look and how you feel, you're going to miss it, right? If I eat right today and I exercise today, but die tomorrow of a heart attack, was I really truly healthy today? No, right? Cancer. Can you develop stage 4 cancer and never know it's there? Yes, unfortunately, the sad truth is that you can. Right, my friend's dad died at the age of 68 from intestinal cancer. He had a 5-pound tumor that was developing in his intestines, and he never knew it was there. 2 months after he found out, he passed away. Was he the healthiest man in the world? No, he wasn't. But at the same time, he's developing this disease inside of him, never knowing it was there. The doctors told my friend that his dad was dying in his 40s. So for 28 years of his life, he was a dying man and never knew it, right? And he never knew it. I still feel like to this day, if he still never knew, he probably would continue to live, because once it gets in your head, sometimes it goes quicker. Right, but you can develop these things and never know it's there. People base and say their health is based around genetics, like it runs in my family, like high blood pressure runs in my family, high cholesterol runs in my family. More and more research and geneticists are coming out saying that it's not necessarily your genetics, it's how those genes get expressed. We can carry genes in our body, but if they're not getting expressed, you're not going to manifest that into your life or have that into your life. And what determines your genetic expression is your internal and your external environment. Other people base their health on medicine, right? Will medicine ever make you healthy? Yes or no? No, it takes your symptoms and covers it up. If I go down and I'm sick, I want to be in this country because we have access to everything, right? We have access to everything. So I know that they'll be able to keep me alive. But if we're relying on medicine to make ourselves healthy from symptoms or diseases that we have, and never making a change in our lifestyle choices or anything, we're going to keep going in the same circle, day after day, week after week, year after year, all the time, every time. Because if you have high blood pressure pills and you take the blood pressure pills, it's going to lower your blood pressure. There's no doubt about it. But when you get off the blood pressure pills, what's going to go back up? Your high blood pressure, because it's not fixing the reason why it's there, right? If it really did make you healthy, then the people that are carrying around the most medicine would be the healthiest people in the world. And we know that if someone walks in here carrying a Ziploc bag of medicine, prescription meds, we wouldn't say that's the healthiest person in the world. We know that they're sick, right? So health is not looking good. It's not feeling good. It's not masking it with symptoms. It's not your genetics or masking it with medication, and it's not genes. The World Health Organization defines health as complete physical and mental and social well-being, not just the absence of sickness or disease, right? So complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not just the absence of sickness and disease. So just because you're not sick does not mean you are healthy, right? So just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're healthy. Health equals 100% function, right? Health equals 100% function. The third question is, what controls all the function inside your body?
Your brain.
Brain and your nervous system. What controls all the function inside your body?
Your brain and your nervous
Yes, good job. Brain and nervous system. Without our brain and our nervous system, our body cannot work, period. This is a dissected nervous system out of a human body. It's the most intricate electrical system. It can't be replicated, can't be duplicated. It is the first system that gets made in the body as the baby's developing in the mother, and every other system stems off of that. This is the tree trunk to the tree, right? When you plant a seed, the first thing to come out of an apple seed, the first thing to come out of the ground is not an apple, right? It's the tree trunk, the branches, the leaves, and the apples come at the end, right? Your organs are all the way at the end. These are the apples. If you disconnect the apple from the apple tree, what happens to the apple? It starts to die, rots, it breaks down because it's disconnected from its source of life. Your nervous system is the source of life. It's the electricity to your body. These lights will not turn on if there's no electricity going to them. Your heart, lungs, digestion, bowel, bladder, muscles, joints, every cell in your body will not work if there's no nervous system signals being sent, right? And the best example I can give for those of you who know who I'm talking about, remember Christopher Reeves fell off the horse, broke his neck. The brain was sending the signals, but there was a dam in the river, and the information wasn't flowing from here down. And as a result, he became a quadriplegic, couldn't move his arms, legs. He couldn't breathe. He had trouble going to digesting on his own, going to the bathroom on his own, right? And eventually he died because his heart shut down, his immune system shut down, and it took his life way earlier than it ever would have if he never had that injury, right? So your brain sends the signals down the spinal column, and then from there it goes to the body. To get from here to the body, it's got to go through these yellow lines. Those are called what? Does anybody know? Starts with an N. Nerves, yeah. So the nerves, those are the wires that carry the information. If there's a disruption in the communication out of a nerve, wherever that body part goes, is not going to receive the information it needs, and it's not going to heal the way it's supposed to. You are all the best doctors. There's no better doctor out there than ourselves. We know exactly what our body needs. Your body knows exactly what it needs. It needs no interference. And once that communication works, it has the potential to heal on its own. If you break an arm, you can put a cast on it, but is the cast doing the healing, or is it your body? The body, every time, right? Every single time. So with that being said, what protects the nervous system? Spine. Spine has to be straight from the front, and then from the side, we need curves. How many curves? 3. Good job. And when the spine's in that position, the brain can send the signals down the spinal column and out the nerves 100%. The problem is when the vertebrae start to shift. And when the vertebrae start to shift, they put stress on the nervous system. Is your body going to work and heal and communicate the way it's supposed to? Yes or no? No. So when that happens and you have damage to a nerve that's going to that's causing numbness and tingling into an arm, is taking anti-inflammatory meds and getting injections going to fix the problem at the end of the day? No. Right? It never will. And that's what people do, unfortunately. Or same thing, look at it from an organ standpoint. If the nerves in your lower back and your spine's crooked and it's putting stress on the nerves, and these nerves go to your digestive system and it's causing, let's say, constipation, is Miralax going to fix the problem? No. You'll be taking it for the rest of your life. Changing your diet is the same thing. Until stress comes off those nerves, then your body is still going to have that disruption, it's still going to have that miscommunication, and it's still going to be creating those problems. Now, I'm not sitting here that's saying like we take stress off your nervous system, correct your spine, like chiropractic cures, digestive issues, thyroid issues, or whatever. My job as a chiropractor is to relieve stress on the nerves, to allow your body to be more adaptive and resilient, the best that your body possibly can, to handle the stresses of life as good as it can. There are limitations because sometimes these damages have been there for far too long. And the longer they're there, the harder it is to go back. Cells can replace themselves and heal. The neurological cells do not replace themselves. You have the same ones from day 0 to the day you die, right? They can heal, right, when they're damaged, but they do not replicate and repeat. Your skin cells replace themselves. They regenerate, right? Your organ can regenerate. Your liver can regenerate up to like a third of it being lost, maybe even more. All right, but for your neurological and nervous system, there is no replacing it, right? So when the spine does go out of alignment, does anybody remember what that's called? Subluxation, yes. Yeah, subluxation. So how do you know when you have a subluxation is by taking what? We take this on x-rays, yeah. And the way we correct is by chiropractic adjustment, right? There are 3 keys to your success in this practice. There's 3. 1, making your visits. It can't help you if you're not here. Number 2, prevent bad habits, right? If I have a sore thumb because I keep hitting it with a hammer, I got to stop hitting it with a hammer. If we have bad posture and we keep sitting in bad posture, we're going to continue to have bad posture, right? And the other one is to do home care exercises, right? For many of you, we still have to get those set up, but we need to do it. If we haven't done it within the next week or so, we got to make sure we schedule those. Doing those 3 things is going to help progress you and get you to where you want to be in this office. Here's some examples of people that followed the recommendations of care and got the results that they're looking for. This woman is Teresa. She's 72 years old. She's suffering from vertigo. Does anybody know what vertigo is? Yeah, what is it? Yeah, yeah, dizziness, room spinning. Yeah, it's really a rough thing to go through. And this woman, she found out about our practice because her daughter and son-in-law coming here. She lives in Manhattan. Before coming here, she went to PT, and they were doing all sorts of maneuvers. She was taking medicine, and nothing was working. When you look at her spine from the side, this is her neck. You should have a curve in your neck. Do you see a curve here? No. So as a result, what system is getting damaged? Nervous system, right? The nervous system. So she has 3 degrees of a curve in her neck. It should be between 30 and 40 degrees. She's got 3. The nerves at the top of her neck, her atlas, is at 5 degrees. It should be at 29. The nerves that come from here go into the inner ear, right? And can cause some dizziness and vertigo. So she came in, she lives in Manhattan, took the train. She can't drive, right? And she can't sit in the car when someone else is driving because she got sick. So she had to sit on the train and close her eyes and get here. She got off the train right here in Park Ridge, came in. For 2 months, we were adjusting her and finally started to get the vertigo to go away, right? Not because of what I did, not because of anything. It's just because we're taking stress off the nerves and allowing those communication highways to open up again. And then her body starts to get better, right? But she was suffering for it for a year of dealing with this, right? So that's that. Next story is this young guy, Matt, 32 years old. He was suffering from neck pain and peripheral neuropathy. What is peripheral neuropathy? Anybody know? So the periphery is your arms and your legs, neuropathy, neurals, inflammation of the nerves. So he was having numbness and tingling in his arms, right? And he's a very active person. Younger in life, he played sports, football, baseball. In college, he was playing baseball too. He's 32 years old now. He's active in jiu-jitsu, and he's a corrections officer in New City, right? So he needs to be on top of his game. And so he was getting numbness and tingling in his arm. In typical male fashion, he ignored it, right? Thought it was going to get better. And thought it was going to be able to, just get better on its own magically. 2 months go by, 3 months go by, 4, 5, 6, 7. The numbness and tingling in his arm is getting so bad that he can barely pick up a pen to write his own name, right? He's used up all of his sick days at work. He's been going to a chiropractor, right? They never took x-rays to see what his spine looked like. He was going to physical therapy. He's going to other doctors. He's getting injections in his neck, literally sticking needles in the neck to numb the pain. And then his next step is to get surgery where they're going to burn the nerve so he doesn't have to feel it anymore. Does that sound like a good option? 32 years old. Okay, this is what we're doing. This is what is happening to people that don't take care of themselves and know that there's no other option, right? That don't know that there is another route. Luckily, his wife was in here, started becoming a patient. She was sitting in the chairs that you're sitting in right now. She took advantage of the opportunity to give you all at the end too, and she brought him in here. We took an x-ray of his spine. 32 years old. He already has degeneration and arthritis in his neck. People think arthritis is age-related. It has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with how long the subluxations have been there. So, and arthritis doesn't tell me severity. It tells me the length of time. 32 years old. This is like 15 years worth of damage. This kid, he was 15 years old in his teenage years when this started to happen. And it never got checked, never got adjusted, never got corrected. The disc space is completely narrowed down. The nerves started to get inflamed. Started to feel the numbness and tingling in his arm. No one talked about this to him. No one, right? Up here's healthy. Good spacing. The vertebrae are good. Narrow, even more narrow, right? He has a 20-degree curve, average between 30 and 40 degrees. So he's not that far off from average. But the problem has been there for so long, it started to degenerate and break down, and those nerves were getting irritated because the spaces was getting so much more narrow. So he was here getting adjusted. It took 7 months for him to get full numbness and tingling gone in his arm. That's how long it takes nerves to heal. 7 months of consistent adjustments over time, right? 7 full months. And he was getting better as time goes on. It wasn't like he was still feeling terrible. It was like slow, very slow progress. 1 month feeling a little bit better, 2 months, 3 months. And as time went on, he started to get improvement, right? And my thing with him, and the reason I'm bringing his story up now in particular, is because if somebody said something to him earlier in life, or he knew, or his parents knew, or somebody knew about chiropractic or getting adjusted and getting the spine checked, he would never be in the situation he is in right now, right? Or he wouldn't have the arthritis and degeneration he is if that area got adjusted earlier in life. Does that make sense? Right? And that's why we do these things. Last story, 9 years old, Jackie, little girl. Parents are patients in this practice. They brought their daughters in to get checked. The one daughter came in, not her. I could give a story on her too, but the other daughter had allergies and sinus congestion. That's really who they wanted to bring in. The other one, this girl, Jackie, they said was healthy, right? We go through the whole exam. I started asking questions, poking around, and they say, oh, she has digestive issues and she also suffers from eczema, right? So a quick side note, if some people suffer from digestive issues and the waste is not getting eliminated, it's got to come out somewhere. And sometimes it comes out through the skin. So for her, she was having eczema. Other people could be psoriasis, acne, or whatever it is. So when we look at her spine here, this is the left, this is the right. The spine should be straight. Is it straight? No, it's shifted to the left 14 millimeters. So when your spine goes out of alignment, it puts stress on what system? Nervous system. And her situation, these nerves were going to her digestive system, and it was causing a decrease in function and ultimately affecting her skin. These people are very health-minded, health oriented. They didn't want to do medicine, and she's just been rubbing, natural lotions and ointments on her skin to try and keep it under control. And so we started adjusting her. Kids are really easy to change. After 2 months of adjusting, we went from here to over here, right? 14 millimeters to the left, down to 1. No more digestive issues, no more, the eczema has significantly gone down, significantly. 3 years later, they're still getting adjusted. They're still here making their appointments, not because of neck pain, not because of back pain, but because of the way that the nervous system has an impact on their overall health and wellness, right? Quality of life, being proactive versus being reactive. And they still do it, right? This little girl, if it stayed like this, it would continue to get worse. Then as time goes on, she probably would never even think about getting her back adjusted unless she had pain, right? And when people utilize chiropractic just for pain, you're missing the boat, right? You use your cell phone just for texting, you're missing a whole host of other things you can do. FaceTime, you can buy plane tickets, you can transfer money, you can do so many different things on your cell phone, right? But if you're utilizing it just for texting, you're missing out. Same thing with chiropractic. It's not just about having your body start to feel better. It's about creating your body to adapt and handle the stresses of life. Because at the end of the day, what creates and causes subluxations in the spine is stress, right? Stress is never going away, right? It's always going to be there. There's different types of stress. There's chemical, things we eat, drink, and air we breathe. There's emotional, things we think about. And then the physical traumas, the little things that add up over time. It's really what I find is the biggest issue that we overlook. As a kid, tripping, falling, doing whatever, these little things that happen, our body's able to handle at that time. Fast forward 10 years down the road, it's like, oh man, now this is starting to bother me, right? And that is what the issue is. So let's recap real quick. Our greatest asset in life is our what? Health. Health equals 100% function. What controls all the function inside your body?
Brain and nervous system.
Yep. And then if the brain and nervous system controls all the function inside your body, when should you start taking care of it? Now, right away.
Always.
Yeah. I mean, like, when was the first trauma in life? Birth. Yes, you're right. Being born. Trust me, I watched my son get born. They were like pulling on his head. I'm like, easy on the neck, So they were yanking him out of there. And that is definitely the first trauma of life. And it starts then, right? And if it doesn't get corrected, it stays there. It stays that way. So as much as this information is for you all to understand the importance of what you're doing here, we all know information now that other people don't know, right? And that's why I do these talks. I go out, I go to different gyms, companies, corporations, do wellness talks, seminars to spread the message of this information because nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about really a wellness type of lifestyle. It's always very reactive, right? So as important as it's for you guys to know exactly what's happening here, it's important for other people to know too. And I need your help because I go out and do those things and you guys know people that I don't know either. And on the back page in that packet, there's a form on there. And in that form, it's called our Save a Life form. Any friend, family member, coworker, anybody you know that you feel that you love and care about that needs to hear this information or needs to get checked, you put their name and phone number down on there. We will not call them, okay? We don't cold call people. We need you to talk to them first. But if we have the name and number, we take that information, and when you say it's good to go, then we'll give them a call to have them come in and get a full exam, just like you guys did, right? And what does the exam include? Orthopedic testing, consultation, thermal scan, which measures the temperature changes on your spine, and even X-rays when they come in for that visit. And then we get a second visit where we sit down with them and go over those X-rays as well. If you went to the hospital and had all those things done, how much would it cost you? Yeah, a lot of money, right? A lot of money. Usually in our office, it's $200. And one of the objections that people give is that that's too much money, right? Well, honestly, if you're not investing into your wellness, you're going to be investing into your illness. And it's your choice to make. And the number one cause of bankruptcy in our country is what? Medical bills, medical debt. How many of those people had health insurance? What percentage? 80%, right? Almost all of them. 80% of people had health insurance and they still went bankrupt from medical debt, right? So if we're waiting for our health insurance to cover us and protect us, it's not going to happen. They don't care. They don't care about us. We're a number to them. We're a money symbol. It's them making money. That's how it is. The health insurance system now is rough. But to eliminate the objection of money, we're letting anybody that you write down on that piece of paper come into this office and get their exam adjusted, whether they have health insurance, don't have health insurance, only $20, right? For $20, they can come and get a full exam, detailed history, orthopedic testing, X-rays, the whole 9 yards for $20, right? Our health is worth more than $20, right? But I do this because we're on a mission, right? Our mission is to educate, adjust as many families as possible towards optimal health and wellness through the principles that we have here today. And that is why I do that, right? Timing is also another thing, right? We have to take time out for ourselves because if we don't, no one else is going to. And when our health fails, it's going to fail at the worst time. That's just a fact of the matter, right? The 3 reasons in the beginning I said why we fail in our society as a healthcare system: we're using the wrong roadmap, we don't take responsibility. The other one is procrastination. The longer we wait to take care of ourselves, the worse it's going to get. Every time. We're not getting any younger. The 2 most certain things in life: taxes and death, right? So we got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. The last story, real quick. This is a young guy. His name is Juno. He comes in here with his 3 brothers. 2 summers ago, he fell off his bike, knocked out his 2 front teeth, picked up one of his tooth, bleeding, rode his bike home. His mom calmed him down. He's been here for like 3-4 years, this kid. So he and his whole family. And he grabbed his tooth, rode home. Mom calmed him down. He said, you know what, I want to go and I want to get my neck checked. I want to get my neck adjusted, right? And so we brought him in. We took X-rays. When we took his X-rays, we found his other tooth. So he ate it. Yeah. So as funny and as cute as that story may be, but the real reason I share it is because this kid, he's been getting adjusted here, and he knows that he needs to get his neck adjusted after he has a trauma or an accident injury, right? Kids understand it. These concepts I'm sharing with you today they're not hard, right? It makes sense, and it's the way your body works, and it hasn't changed for years and years and years and years and years. But we have to grasp it, understand it, and apply it to our life, and not just for ourselves, but for all of us around us, right? Because again, if we're utilizing it just for neck and back pain, we're missing out, right? Anybody have any questions? No? Cool. I'm looking forward to you all getting better. Anybody that filled out that piece of paper, you can give that to Stephanie at the front desk, and we'll collect those. And then you talk to those people first before we go ahead and call them, and you let us know when it's good timing, okay? Awesome.